I'm gonna climb up a tree. You guys, one of these days, I'm gonna die in that tree too. People say I'm gonna die alone. You bet. I want a bitch. It's crazy to me that's a threat. Do they not know who I am? Do they not know our amazing ability to multiply ourselves? Do they not realize this capacity that we have that they do not? They have to impregnate somebody in order to feel important, in order to leave behind their legacy. I was thinking about that, how like, everybody knows who Pink Floyd is, right? They might not know who made the band, but they know about the band. They've heard of the band. They know that the band exists. And that they're a very, very influential rock band for a great number of reasons. But the person that invented the band, he didn't get married, he didn't have kids. He was deemed by his own band members as crazy. But he was still really close with his family when he died. And they totally denied that he was schizophrenic. Probably because of the stigma surrounding schizophrenia. But they said, you know, if Sid is schizophrenic, then we're all on that spectrum. And yeah, it's like, people try to use that against you. You can't let them. You gotta like own that. Almost take pride in it. Mainly because they try to shame me. Look at my finger. Should I get it checked out? I tried soaking it in apple cider vinegar, but it didn't really do much. And then like I reopened it and pus started coming out of it, so I probably should see somebody, but I really don't want to. But the thing is, back to what I was talking about, it's not that I don't see the value in things that the sheep do. It's just that I don't want to do those things. I've never had the desire to do those things. And I remember being very young and looking around me and being disgusted by those things. Like I was watching this football game with my dad. So the Steelers were playing against the Baltimore Ravens, and I was just, you know, watching this game as an outsider, and you know, I was just noticing like how hardcore these fans are. You know, sorry, the sunlight. Yeah, so football fans are really crazy about their team. And they typically dress up. You know, they're not only wearing the jersey, but, you know, they're covered in the face paint, and they typically have, like, a bunch of stuff, like, you know, mascot-related stuff. You know, stuffed animals and various thingamajigs that remind everybody that they're a true fan, okay? Now, you could say the same thing about bands. You know, like I have a bunch of band t-shirts. I have posters of people that I like musically. But like, some might say that that's an idol, you know? Like, you're putting this team up on a pedestal, or you're putting this musician up on a pedestal, or you're putting this, you know, whatever you like, up on a pedestal. I think that you can enjoy things without getting sucked into the idolatry of it. But it's really difficult. And it's way more difficult if you're a sheep. So when I was watching the Steelers game, I was like wondering, like, how many of those people in the stadium were not sheep. You know, there's probably 2 people in that whole stadium that think for themselves. You know, maybe that's me being judgy. I'm painting with too broad a brush there. And if that's the case, then I'm sorry, because that's not what I intend to do. But I'm sure that's true of everything, though. That's why I don't really like to go to concerts, because concerts tend to be comprised of mainly sheep. But what's really cool about it, and I can only assume that it's the same way with football. Where, like, you know, you're really into a team. Anybody that's into football understands that. Just like if you're really, really into music, like, you love the fuck out of that band. You love the fuck out of that concert pianist. You love the fuck out of that cello player. You love the fuck out of that opera singer. Whatever it is that you're into. You know? People have things that they like a lot. And they're passionate about those things. It can turn ugly whenever you get egotistical about it. And you see that with team sports. You see that with bands. You see that with, like, award shows, you know? You know, actors and actresses who deserve to win the Oscar. Probably all of them. Which is why it's stupid to even have the award show. You know? It's just like, if you question things, you realize the utter pointlessness of it all. And it's really not fair. Nothing's ever fair. But that's okay. Just get used to that. But, you know, I just find it interesting, like, studying the sheep and trying to understand what motivates them to exist. And I think that one of the main reasons why there's this whole crazy cat lady trope is because of the fact that sheep don't understand not being hardwired to do things like make a family and, you know, do the stuff that, like, a lot of people do. Well, we all have to find fulfillment in one way or another. It's dangerous when people don't realize how fulfilling that is, and they try to replace it with something else. And it doesn't really do the trick. And then they're going to spend the rest of their life angry, and they're probably going to have shitty-ass politics. But I'm sorry, but just because you're living a conventional life, or you're doing what you think is right, like, I don't really think... Wait for this guy to go. Go on, baby, go on. I don't think that like, makes you a good person. Like, I don't rate people like that. I think what makes you a good person is, like, the way that you look at other people and the way that you treat people on a regular basis. You know? I'm a comedian, so I'm allowed a little bit of leeway here. You know, I can say some fucked up shit if I really want to. And you know that we really want to, most of the time. And I had to accept that about this art form, that some of it's not very nice. But the reason why it's not very nice is because we internalize a lot of stuff that the rest of society puts all over Twitter, okay? Because they don't see the problem with that. And the reason why they don't see the problem with that is because everybody's doing it. But once again, that's not a reason to do shit, okay? You getting married and having kids because, like, that's the next step, or that's what we're supposed to do. And you wonder why there are all these tablet kids and iPad kids and shit? You wonder why society is fucking worthless? There's no consciousness with the things that people do on a daily basis. There's no consciousness when it comes to having sex. There's no consciousness when it comes to raising a child. But what do I know? What do I know? I don't have children. That's right, dude. That's right. We can't make statements objectively. That is not allowed anymore. Like, whenever I criticize a hitman for killing people for a living, you know, what the fuck do I know? Because I don't have to clean up all that blood. You know, like, obviously, what the fuck do I know about being a hitman? You know, I don't know shit, right? But it's just ridiculous that people think that their opinion is so important and that nobody else's opinion is important. You know? That's what's so crazy about it. Careful, careful, careful. That was scary. But we did it. We did it, Vortex, we did it. But you know, I'm supposed to make art. That might seem like a pretty, like, worthless pursuit, especially if you don't value creativity. The only creativity that a lot of people seem to value is making a baby, okay? And while that is great, you know, people need to do that. Because us crazy cat ladies definitely won't, okay? Because we're so selfish in our self-awareness. We're so selfish. Knowing ourselves well enough to know what we can handle and what we can't. I wish more people were aware like that. Like I said, I'm currently working on this joke right now. That's basically like a self-awareness test. And if you don't pass it, you're barred from having children. Because we don't need replicas of people that don't have self-awareness. Okay? Now that might sound a little fascist to you, because it is fascist. A little fascism goes a long way, especially when it comes to sex. Just look at China. I mean, I don't think that they make excuses in China the way that they make excuses in America. Correct me if I'm wrong. It just seems like in America, like, you're just allowed to be a piece of shit. I just hope that I can contribute. I hope that that's what I'm doing. I hope I'm not just lying to myself. I mean, I don't think that I am, because, you know, I've had enough confirmation. I've had enough people tell me that what I do matters to them, and they really appreciate it, and I've inspired them. So, that's cool. I'm glad. But, you know, you can't please everybody though, man. So, don't try to do that. Just try to please yourself. Make yourself happy in the things that you do. And I don't mean happiness like hedonistic, because that's easy. Anybody can do that. I'm talking, you know, do stuff that you can look back on it and go, I'm really glad I did that. You know, like how people look at their kids that way? Well, like, I want to be able to look back on the things that I've done in this life and go, you know, that was hard, but it was worth it. I'm really glad that I decided to do that. Even though people thought I was crazy, or people thought that I was gonna screw it up, I still did it anyway, you know? And that's really important to, like, know why you're doing the things that you're doing, and know why you believe in the things that you believe in. And I don't really think a lot of people are conscious of any of that. And so if I seem like I'm really angry and hateful towards the majority of society, it's because of that very thing. And whenever you have unconscious people that are breeding and they're like raising monsters that aren't going to contribute anything to this world, okay? But they want to pat themselves on the back because, oh, they took a risk, and yeah, but it's not like really a worthwhile risk if, like, the end result is yet another piece of shit mass consumer that doesn't know who the fuck they are, that's gonna either rely on the government or just be some codependent sack of shit that ends up hopping from shitty relationship to shitty relationship, like so many people I know. And it's like they don't value their life. You know, like, I legitimately value my life. Like, I appreciate everything that I have, like, even the really hard stuff. It's like, I'm really glad that I went through all that, because it's like, it's made me the person I am. And I think the person I am is pretty fucking cool, you know? Just because I don't have little replicas of myself, like, I haven't accomplished anything, you know? Hey, at least I don't have a college degree, okay? I quit smoking cigarettes. Quitting smoking is harder than having a baby, okay? I'm kidding, I don't know. I can only assume that having a baby is really difficult, like, physically. But the reward is endless, right? I mean, objectively looking at it, I can totally agree and see that that's probably true. I don't need to prove it to believe it. of people do need proof, though, don't they? They need proof that the things that they do, like, have meaning. And, you know, I think especially with art, you know, people think that in order for their art to be good, like, other people have to acknowledge that it's good. Other people need to recognize. And that's just not true. And any artist knows that what I'm saying is true here. Like, do not expect anybody to give a shit about what you do. Do not expect anybody to understand what you do or be supportive of what you do, okay? Like, this world will always hate the artist. Because this world will always see being a sheep as being a lot more valuable than being creative. Okay? So, just stop having any kind of hope in this world, or you will continue to be sorely disappointed.